We're going to find the zeros of the function f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 54. But before we do that, let's go over here and remind ourselves what it means to be a zero of a function. The zeros of a function are the values of the input, which we usually call x, that make the output, which we can either call y or f of x, equal to 0. So let's look at a specific case of what that means. So if we have a function g of x is equal to x squared minus 4, then this function has a 0 of x equals 2 because g of 2, which is equal to 2 squared minus 4 equals 4 minus 4 is equal to 0. The input of 2 gives us an output of 0. So now let's go back to our original question. Find the zeros of the function f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 54. Well, that means that we want to find x values so that when we plug them in, the result is 0. So that means that 0 is going to be equal to x squared minus 3x minus 54. This looks like something that we can solve by using the zero product principle. So let's go ahead and factor this. We need to come up with two numbers. When we multiply them together, we get 54, but when we add them together, we get negative 3. So the two numbers that I can think of that we can multiply together to get 54 are 6 and 9. And when we add them together, we need to get negative 3. So that means that the 6 needs to be positive and the 9 needs to be negative. To continue solving this, we need to use the zero product principle, which tells us that x plus 6 is equal to 0, or x minus 9 is equal to 0. Because if we multiply two things together, and the result that we get is 0, the only way for that to happen is for either the first one to be 0 or for the second one to be 0. And that gives us the two equations down here that we're solving. So we'll solve that first one by subtracting 6 from both sides, and x is equal to negative 6. We'll solve the second one by adding 9 to both sides, and x is equal to 9. So then we can conclude that the zeros of f of x is equal to x squared minus 3x minus 54 are x equals negative 6 and x equals 9. Meaning if we input negative 6 or input 9, the output that we'll get for that function is 0.